My name is, okay, sorry. To give you an introduction to myself, my name is Cole Roskwitowski. I am from T3 Esports, and I got here beside me Jack Tupta. He's also from T3. Just to give you, my background, I sort of started high school in a small town growing up, and I was involved in like a bunch of extracurriculars like mock trial and baseball and stuff like that. But when I went to UA in my third year, they started esports. So I got really involved with esports there. I was on the Hearthstone team. And then after a year and a half, I started coaching the Hearthstone team. And now I'm just involved with T3 Esports, trying to give students a lot of opportunities in esports that I didn't have when I was a kid. And I can hand it over to Jack to give his introduction.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Jack Tupta, as Cole said, and I'm currently a student at Akron University, and I compete on their Call of Duty team that they currently have. This is actually the first semester that they offered a varsity program for Call of Duty, although they've had several successful years with varsity programs, and Cole can attest to that. So, but before that, in high school, I began competing early on, probably my freshman year, and I wish I had some kind of opportunity like what we're offering today, which is some form of coaching and helping out different high school programs and even college programs. So I kind of had to like build it up on my own and compete and try and get my name out there. I started with Smash Bros. That was my main game of choice and still is even today, although it isn't offered at, my college or even other colleges. So that's the game that I'm also coaching for here at T3. And other than that, I'm doing some marketing and sales here for the company as well. So yeah, anyways, Cole is going to do most of the talking here. Take it home. Thanks for coming out to the presentation, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess the first thing you guys might be asking is, what is esports? If you're familiar with video games, as I'm sure you are, it's just a competitive version of video games. We see the high school esports organizer is called Esports Ohio. They really handle all of the competition at the high school level. They have, similar to traditional sports, a main season, playoffs, tournaments, and stuff like that. And we really find that there's an opportunity to be very inclusive in esports because there's a low barrier to entry, a really high accessibility. So we can reach a lot of people that aren't necessarily being reached in traditional sports. And this is a lot of the reasons that the University of Akron started their esports program. And I will just go ahead and give you an intro video that they put together. Okay, I'm getting told that you guys can't hear the video, so I'm just gonna skip on. So, how big is esports? I'm talking about esports at a collegiate level, at a high school level, but really we find that esports is very expansive. So many Ohio colleges have esports programs, and a lot of them even offer scholarships. The University of Akron in particular, which I've already talked about a little bit, has over $75,000 a year in esports scholarships. And we find that generally, talking pro to the more casual audience, the esports industry is a $1 billion industry. And you can even look to large tournaments such as TI-10, which was a Dota 2 invitational that had a prize pool of over 40 million. And you can find that there's different career opportunities, different scholarship opportunities within esports as well. So most esports programs have a sort of holistic development model for esports. So that includes stuff like academic monitoring, fitness, nutrition, stuff like that. The University of Akron even requires a 2.5 GPA minimum, which is similar to what you'd see in a lot of college athletics, such as football or baseball or anything like that. They also provide their players with workout plans, nutrition classes, and mental health coaching. And this is really just to get the full spectrum of what esports can offer to people and really allow them to develop not only as esports players, but as people generally. So it also reflects a lot in academic success. You can see that according to the NCES, extracurricular involvement will correlate strongly with a lot of academic indicators. So that can be stuff such as attendance or GPA or math and reading assessments. You can see that people who do participate in extracurriculars are much more likely to score highly on these exams than the non-participants. According to Play VS, even 84% of the players said that they felt like they found a community that they could finally engage with. And this is important because to us, esports is offering a community that not a lot of people have access to. A lot of people are going to be in esports and be in nothing else. And it's really good for us to be able to reach these people in that way. You can see there's 9 Ohio colleges that offer scholarships. You have big names up there like Ohio State, the University of Akron, Kent State, Miami, Lourdes, all kinds of different colleges. There are many colleges in Ohio with esports programs that don't offer scholarship opportunities, but we see that Ohio is actually uniquely positioned where we have a lot of scholarship opportunities compared to other states. But esports isn't just competition. You can see on Twitch TV, there's going to be a lot of broadcasting and streaming. So this is a very media focused portion of esports. There's also social media. Jack handles a lot of our social media at T3. So we have a lot of opportunities in that sense. But at the end of the day, it's about students, and Discord provides that sort of community space for the students. We'll find at the University of Akron, almost 55% of students are involved with the Discord for the esports program. And you can find that that community just really provides a lot for the students to be able to engage with something that they really enjoy. And then to give you a little bit more information about what we are specifically, T3 Esports, we have experts in different esports related fields. So that includes coaching, mental health, physical performance, stuff like that. We've partnered with Esports Ohio, the University of Akron, Boys and Girls Clubs, as I mentioned before. But we have coaching for 7 different games: Fortnite, Rocket League, League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, Super Smash Brothers, Smite, and Hearthstone. Our coaching programs include a lot of different areas to focus or to really get the esports athletes to the best they can be. So that includes individual coaching, VOD review, team coaching, mental performance, and physical training. So I just want to know if anybody has any questions. It's an info night after all. So I want to give you all the information you guys need. Yeah, if you just want to unmute and ask the question, go ahead.
Do you ever use AimLab?
Yeah, so a lot of our FPS coaches will use AimLab. I did some training myself with our Overwatch coach, and that was one of the first things that he did was have me download AimLab and try it out. Yeah, so we find that AimLab is particularly useful for FPS, of course. For a game like Hearthstone, it's not going to be as useful, but we find that having those reaction times, having that aim training is very valuable, and it really allows us to sort of get a feeling of where you are and give you the ability to take your learning to the next level. Does anybody else have any questions?
Could you explain to me how Discord works?
Yeah, so Discord, are you asking about the like the coaching sessions or just the community side of Discords?
Both.
So in terms of coaching, that's going to be more one-on-one. So we would just have you enter the T3 Esports Discord, and you'd be able to get with our coaches one-on-one. You can screen share, which is important for us, so we're able to see through your eyes as you're playing the game and coach that way. But we also have text rooms so that you're able to access coaching resources outside of your necessary like training time. So this can include like online guides, YouTube videos, stuff like that. In terms of the community side of things, you're able to just jump in and talk to all the people who might be getting coached by us, or talk to your coaches. It's just a really open-ended way that you're able to log on and talk to your coach when you might not necessarily be able to see them in person.
Yeah, and for a lot of people like myself, I coach for Smash Bros, which isn't a game that's on PC, which is where Discord is located. So that is a huge way to share my screen and basically in a one-on-one call with whoever is being coached and the coach themselves, you can translate that video and they can watch live exactly what you're doing without having to be in the same space with each other. And outside of that, like Cole had mentioned, you can join different communities for the game that you're playing. Certain games require like different skill sets and different avenues, like depending on what character you're using, what kind of, I guess maps or different things that add to like what game that you actually like apply your skill set to. You can join different communities and see how they use that, and they can give you little tips and stuff like that. So it is a really nice place to learn a lot and also connect with other people who are interested in the same game as you.
Yeah, and you mentioned the game-specific communities. We often operate a lot of our tournaments in collegiate setting through Discord, communicating with other teams, setting up scrimmages, stuff like that.
Right.
So we have Kevin here asks, do you have a curriculum to teach us as a class during school hours? We do not actually offer anything during school hours typically, but we have been working with schools to develop a summer camp curriculum. So that would be something that we'd be able to offer in a more like academic setting, but we have not developed anything to teach necessarily during school hours themselves. But along with schools, certainly, we love to partner with different high schools, different colleges to really get a very rigorous esports environment.
Yeah, I think academics and school and esports themselves tie in pretty closely. I mean, we even, of course, you didn't hear the audio in the video we played, but it did touch on, scholarships and different things of that nature. And some of the players like gave their thoughts going into trying out before a team. Like some people even mentioning they didn't think they'd make the team, or they just wanted to give it a shot, and then they found themselves with a scholarship and finding, a new community on the team. So academics definitely tie into esports in a very important way, and that's something that we like to attack at as well.
Yeah, we find a lot of times that people who are involved in the esports programs really do excel academically, and that's going to be for a lot of the same reasons that you would expect somebody to excel academically when they're involved in traditional sports, right? So they're learning teamwork, discipline, stuff like that, and that allows them to be able to tackle their academic endeavors in a much more structured manner. Can you send everyone the video link to us by email? Absolutely, I will send that. I will send that out right after this meeting. You can also find it if you go to uakron.edu/esports. It's just their promotional video that they have on their homepage for esports. I can actually, let me stop sharing my screen and I will send you the link to that in the chat real quick.
Of course, if there's any other questions, go ahead and send them our way.
Yep, so there's that link. You'll be able to watch that video for them. Now, the University of Akron, I kind of touched on, has a really exceptional esports program. That is where we bring a lot of our coaches from because it is such an exceptional program. And so we really like to base our high school environment off of the success that they've had, and also the success that T3 Performance has had in the more traditional athletics side of things.
A quick question for you.
Sure.
If somebody wanted to get signed up today to get some coaching, how do you do that?
Yeah, so you just go to this website right here, t3esports.org. You can scan the QR code. If you have any questions, of course, that you come up with after the meeting, you can email Jack or I or call either of us. But if you go to t3esports.org and you click in the top right, you'll find the Register Now button. You can just purchase online there and everything. We'll get you set up with a coach, and that coach will be able to find a schedule for you.
And even if you're just looking for more information on that website, you can find, coaches like myself. We have like pictures for us, and it'll show like a brief history of why we are credible for that esport. And you can also find our social media. I'm sure it's linked there on the website as well, so you can go and see some of our social media posts. And we even post a few of the clips from our coaches, so you can see a little bit of action there.
Yeah, and you'll find that our coaches are quite talented, so we'll get some pretty cool clips coming in from them.
Other question for you: when you look at esports as compared to traditional sports, what's the difference? Because obviously, if you're playing video games, like how is that a sport? And like, how do you get involved at your school and those types of things? If or who do you talk to get involved with that?
Yeah, so esports mirrors traditional sports in a lot of ways, but it also differs in a lot of ways. I think the ways that it really mirrors traditional sports is like I was talking earlier with that discipline and teamwork and how you can learn stuff like that. We have the same seasonal structure as traditional sports do. But there's also a lot of ways that it differs. You don't need an athlete's body to play esports. You don't need to segregate esports by gender or anything like that. So it's actually a co-ed environment. But we find that that's very inclusive and enjoyable for everyone who's involved. And then the second question you had about how do you get involved with esports at the high school level? Most high schools that have teams will usually have like an esports club, and you can talk to your club advisor there. I mean, if you don't have a club advisor, I would certainly try to find somebody who might be interested or find some people to start a team with. Esports Ohio is going to be the organizer for that, and they have a lot of resources to help get high schools started in the esports scene.
And a lot of schools are excited to get programs started. They just need the kids that have the motivation or rather the want to have such a program.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys have any is there any like age requirements in esports? And if not, what are the youngest and the oldest you guys see people getting involved in esports?
Yeah, so there aren't any strict age requirements. The age requirements are going to vary game by game. There are some games that are going to be rated teen, but you'll find that most of the games are rated E. And at the high school level, we don't really get involved with any of the games that are rated M for obvious reasons. But you can really get involved in esports at quite a young age. I think typically Esports Ohio is going to be organizing in that middle school, high school age group. But if you wanted to get involved in coaching and stuff like that, you could do that at an even earlier age. We find that it's most common that people enjoy it around the middle school, high school age. But if you're really trying to be the next best, I think that getting started the younger the better.
All right, good. That's good. So let's say someone is young enough to where they're not at the middle school level yet. They're younger than that, elementary school level. What would be the best advice, or what guidance would you give someone who does want to get started and they're that young?
If they wanted to get started that young, I think the best advice I would give them is to find a game that they really enjoy and are passionate about. You'll find that often the people who are really good at their games are going to focus on one game. They're not going to have generalized knowledge across 7 games, but they're just going to have one that they're very passionate about. So finding that is going to be important. And you see that each of the games is going to be different from each other game in a substantial way. Hearthstone player isn't going to be any good at playing Fortnite, for example. So I think the most important thing is to find that game you enjoy, and then just to pursue it in a way where you constantly are focused on how to get better. So that includes playing with people who are better than you, getting coaching advice, watching tutorials online, stuff like that. But really focus on how to get better rather than just playing the game.
Certainly, we definitely have a lot of coaches here that are also credible, as I mentioned before, and getting the coaching from people such as the people that we offer to you guys can get your name out there as well. We have one of the best Rocket League players in the country right now is one of the people we're working with right now. And, his name is only going to get bigger by working with us and stuff like that. And having people like that coach you is going to apply those skills that he has onto you guys as well. Those that are being coached, of course.
That's good stuff. So so I know you guys got you follow like a traditional sports when it comes to regular season playoffs and things of that nature. Where will we go to see you guys compete season wise, postseason wise? Where will we go to see those type of things?
Yeah, so that's one of the wonderful things about esports is that because it's all happening on computers, it's pretty much already being recorded. So a lot of times you'll find that people are hosting their tournaments, hosting their seasons on Twitch. As I was talking about earlier, the website's just twitch.tv. You'll find a lot of high schools will have that, and certainly a lot of colleges will have that. I know that the University of Akron has an incredible presence on Twitch, and they're always streaming their games and their competitions.
Yeah, and also the companies themselves for that game of choice also typically will have their own college league that they host.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, they have their own professional league, which you can watch as well. And even as an example, Akron Esports, they host live streams almost daily. And I've actually casted for them quite a bit, and it's awesome. The school themselves has several viewers for that game that's being streamed, and they have people all around watching it, whether they're actually interested in the game or they just want to see like how it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's promotion at its best, and it's just showing their talents off to everybody else who's also interested in the game themselves.
Another question: if obviously, if you're training and you're working hard at your specific game, what's the potential for scholarships? I'm familiar with like athletic scholarships. I mean, what do esports scholarships look like for student athletes?
Yeah, so typically we don't see full ride scholarships for students unless we're talking some of the really big name schools like Northwood. If you're a pro, you might be getting a full ride. But we find that the University of Akron offers their scholarships between $1,000 a year and $5,000 a year. But like I said, we have a bunch of different schools. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head for the scholarship totals for those schools, but I know we have 9 Ohio schools that offer esports scholarships. So you'll find a lot of opportunities like that. And you'll also find a lot of opportunities for student work. So stuff like social media, casting, stuff like that.
Excuse my tardiness, I came a little bit late, but do you guys have or will you be having on-site computers or facility?
Yep, the plan is to have those available next fall, and we will be able to use those to train students in esports. Right now, we're doing most of our coaching remotely, like I said, over Discord primarily, but the plan is to have on-site computers available soon.
Is that going in the new building?
Yes, that would be in the new building, not in the current one.
And that building will be located, I don't know, we don't have an exact address for it, but it'll be here.
Right across the street, yeah.
Literally right across the street from our current T3 Performance location.
And what specific game you guys are doing? League of Legends, Rocket League, the general top 5 ones that are out there?
Yeah, so we have these 7 games that we offer coaching in. So Fortnite, Rocket League, League of Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, Smash, Smite, and Hearthstone.
Yeah, a lot of these are only offered, or not only offered at high school, but there's a lot more outside of this that are offered in collegiate levels. But as we mentioned before, due to their rating and different aspects in that way, they aren't included in the high school scene as of now, at least. But these specific games here are what are offered, and we also offer coaching for.
Mm-hmm.
What's VOD review?
So VOD stands for video on demand. That's sort of just like the traditional sports doing film review. So we go over your games. We go back and look at it piece by piece in a more structured manner. so that we're able to really pick apart your gameplay and focus on the large scale strategy of the game rather than just the, here you should have aimed better, you should have shot better. But it's more about, where are you going? What's your strategy? What are you doing? Those kinds of things. We're able to break it down and really give you a focused strategy in game. VOD review is going to look different for each game, but I think you'll find that, at least in my experience, VOD review was the most impactful to my playing, because it really allowed me to get a snapshot of each point in time and really understand the decisions that I was making.
I definitely agree with that. Even when you're considering games that require a lot of teamwork, such as Valorant or Overwatch, looking at like where you were in that past video of when you guys were playing, you can kind of analyze where your teammates were at in that situation and where you were. And, you'll kick yourself a little bit and say, hey, like, I should have been in this situation, or I should have, been over there helping this person. And stuff like that goes a long way. It really opens your eyes a little bit to how to play around your teammates and even play better for yourself as well.
And what does mental performance and physical training include?
Yeah, so that mental performance is going to really be obviously the mental side of things. So that's going to include stuff like breathing exercises, relaxation techniques, the ability to, handle stress. We find that the mental coaching is going to be pretty directly tied to esports. We want to prevent players from getting tilted while they're playing their games. We want to really set them up to be in the best head space so that they're able to play the game as best they can. Physical training, that's going to be closer to what you would imagine in traditional athletics, because we want you to have a healthy body as well as a healthy mind, and we want you to be able to be in the best shape you can to play esports. So that physical training is going to really set you up for the ability to spend those hours at your computer under high stress situations where you might not exactly expect physical training to come into play. We like to bring it in just to really make you the best person possible so you can be the best esports player possible.
Can we do mental performance and physical training at T3, or is that online, or can it be a hybrid? How does that work?
Yeah, so the mental performance can both be done online and on site. The physical training is primarily going to be done on site, just because we have facilities for that up here. If you guys have any questions about the previous slides, I can of course go back to them.
Can you just scroll back just so that I can take a look at them real quick?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me just share this whole thing with you. I can even send this out in a link if you'd like me to.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let me just get this sent out to the chat. How do I open the chat from here? That's not
While you're doing that, what do you know? Okay, so Esports Ohio is the sanctioning body for esports for middle school and high school students. Is that going to be sanctioned by the Ohio High School Athletic Association?
Yeah, so it's not actually sanctioned by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Esports Ohio is a different organization that really just focuses in on esports. You see that we have 7 different games that are offered by Esports Ohio. So they're going to really focus in on those rather than having the Ohio High School Athletic Association come in and focus in on it. it's going to be more esports focused.
And what role do Zips and Boys and Girls Club play?
In the high school esports,
Correct.
they do not play a direct role in high school esports. They are groups that we partner with, that we have done events with, done coaching with, stuff like that.
Is Zips a local esports?
Yeah, so Zips is from the University of Akron. That's their mascot, basically.
Thank you.
Yep.
If I have follow-up questions, can I contact you guys on this card here?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and call either our phone numbers, send us an email, go to our website. You can fill out contact there, however you want to talk to us. We're here to answer your questions. All right, well, if nobody else has any questions, we can go ahead and end it. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I really appreciated the ability to spread esports a little bit.
Don't be afraid to reach out to us, guys. Please, our contact information is right there, and we'll be available almost all the time to fill any questions in.
One last question. You guys,
Sure.
are you doing coaching now, like currently?
Yep, we are absolutely doing coaching now. We could have you coaching next week if you wanted to.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.